I'm like fucking 5 minutes late, but you know what? That's fine. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone who's showing up or who's watching this, whatever. My name is Scary Heights. Welcome. We have a handful of news to talk about today, which I don't know if it's exciting or if it's not. Anyway, today is May 12th, 2021. It is currently 12:35 p.m. in the United States of America. I hope everyone's having a good day today. I hope you all are doing well. Hope you're doing fine. Again, as you can read from the title, we got quite a bit of news today. And finally, I'm gonna fucking talk about Liz Cheney later. I never talked about Liz Cheney mainly because I didn't give a fuck. I don't care about her at all. I mean, I think she's a fucking asshole. But you know, she's been pushed in my face in the news recently, and I'm like, you know what, fine, I'll bite. I'll cover her. But before we cover that, oh, by the way, could you see this shit, bro? It's gonna get so hot later. It's most likely gonna get hot later. I'm not here for that. But anyway, we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna start quick. So we're gonna talk about the NRA. So I've heard that the NRA went bankrupt a while back. Even before I think I even started streaming, I heard that the NRA went bankrupt. I didn't know a lot of information about it, and I still don't know a lot of information about it. I don't really know what's happening there. But I guess we're gonna fucking find out. So we're gonna start with the NRA. So, yeah, this is uploaded by the Associated Press today. So let's get started. Judge dismisses NRA bankruptcy case in blow to gun group. So yeah. So if you don't know what the NRA is, what the NRA is the National Rifle Association, and they're a bunch of assholes. If you don't know, basically they're like pro-gun and all that crazy shit. So that's basically what they do. Okay. Dallas. Okay. A federal judge dismissed the National Rifle Association bankruptcy case Tuesday, leaving the most powerful gun rights group to face the New York State lawsuit that accuses it of financial abuses and aims to put it out of business. Good shit. The judge was taken by fuck, bro. I cannot fucking read. Okay, whatever. The judge was tasked with deciding whether the NRA should be allowed to incorporate in Texas instead of New York. That makes a lot of sense. Where the state is suing in an effort to disband the group. Through headquarters in Virginia, the NRA was chartered as a nonprofit in New York in 1871 and is incorporated in the state. This makes a lot of sense because Texas is known to be that state where they just love guns. So honestly, that's not that surprising. Judge Harlan Hale said in a written order that he was dismissing the case because he found the bankruptcy was not filed in good faith. Okay, the court believes the NRA's purpose in filing bankruptcy is less like a traditional bankruptcy case in which a debator is faced with financial difficulties or a judgment that is cannot satisfy, and more like in cases in which courts have found bankruptcy was filed to gain an unfair advantage in litigation or to avoid regularity scheme, Hale wrote. Wow. I wonder what's gonna happen. The NRA has caused a lot of horrible things for the country. Obviously, the number one being they're pro-gun, which is fucking garbage. His decision followed 11 days of testimony and arguments. Lawyers for the New York and NRA's former advertising agency grilled the group's embattled top executive, Wayne LaPierre. I do not know who the fuck this is, but I guess so. Who acknowledged putting the NRA into Chapter 11 bankruptcy without the knowledge or assent of most of its board and other top officials. excluding so many free people from the purpose of deciding to file for bankruptcy, including the vast majority of board directors, the chief financial officer, and the general counsel, is nothing less than shocking, the judge added. Philip Cheney, an NRA board member and Kansas judge who had sought to have an examiner appointed and investigate blah blah blah. One word, disappointed, he wrote in a text message. Bro, what the fuck is going on, dude? The peer pledged in his statement to continue to fight for gun rights. Of course he did. Although we are disappointed in some aspects of the decision, there is no change in the overall decision of our association, its program, or its Second Amendment advocacy. Bro, okay, I'm not gonna say anything because it's gonna be some out-of-pocket shit. But yeah, whatever. Kapori said via the NRA's Twitter account, "Today is ultimately about our members, those who stand courageously with the NRA in defense of the constitutional freedom. We remain an independent organization that can chart its own course, even as we remain in New York to comfort our adversaries." Bro, the NRA is so fucking crazy. Hold on. On Mother's Day, the NRA posted a picture of literal children holding guns. Hold on. NRA Mother's Day ad. Look at this. Do you see this crazy shit? Fuck, I didn't even spell that right. They posted this. They posted this, dude. They posted a literal child. This is real. This is 100% real. They posted an actual kid holding a semi-automatic weapon. Or whatever the fuck. It's a weapon. It's a gun, alright? Said... Look, this is posted by their... I'm not going to go to their actual Twitter account. Fuck that. Happy Mother's Day to all NRA moms. The top millions of job bombs, blah, blah. We are grateful for our fierce women. Mama didn't raise a victim. Could you believe this shit? That's fucking crazy. Showing actual and literal kids holding a gun. And this isn't new, by the way. This has happened many times before. There's a ton of pictures of, like... gun people, I don't know how to explain it, like just Republican conservatives holding guns like this and giving them to little kids. It's like, dude, this girl barely knows her fucking ABCs and you're giving her a fucking gun, dude. But this is easily one of the most American things that I've ever seen. It's very American. And that's what the NRA does. That's the type of shit that they do, okay? We cannot be surprised by this, as much as some of us may like to be. Okay, I already read that. Lawyers for the New York Attorney General, blah, blah, argued that the case was an attempt by the NRA leadership to escape accountability for using the group's coffers as their personal piggy bank. The NRA's attorney said it was a legitimate effort to avoid a political attack by James, who was a Democrat. The peer testified that he kept the bankruptcy largely secret to prevent leaks from the group's 76-member board, which is divided in its support for him. How did they, I just realized I don't know a lot about this situation. He'll dismiss the NRA's case without prejudice, meaning the group can refile it. However, he warned that in doing that, the NRA's leaders would risk losing control. The judge wrote that if the case is refiled, he would immediately take up concerns about disclosure, transparency, secrecy, conflict of interest between the NRA officials and the bankrupt legal team. He said the lawyers' unusual involvement in the NRA's affairs raised concerns that the group could not fulfill the fiduciary duty. I do not even know what the fuck that word means. It might lead him to appoint a trustee to oversee it. He'll also note that the NRA could still pursue other legal steps in cooperation with Texas. And James said he would would require her approval. Okay, and this seems unlikely. Bro, if the NRA does end up getting in cooperation with Texas, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Boys, it's a wrap. If the NRA does end up getting in cooperation with Texas, it's a wrap. It's over. In a tweet, Republican Governor Greg Abbott said, "Texas stands with the NRA, and we look forward to working with the association on their plans to move to Texas." See, what the fuck did I just say? The NRA declared bankruptcy in January, 5 months after James's office sued, sinking in dissolution following allegations that executives illegally diverted tens of millions of dollars for lavish personal trips, no-show contracts, and other questionable. Bro, I'm not surprised by this. Are we surprised? No, we're not. And I 100% believe this. So that's how they went bankrupt. So there's your fucking answer. This is how they first got bankrupt. Because of this. Alright, James is in New York. Chief law enforcement officer has regulatory power over nonprofit organizations or corporations with the state. She sued the NRA last August, saying that at the time the breadth and the depth of the corporation and the illegality at the NRA justified its closure. James took a similar action to force the disclosure of former President Donald J. Trump. A charitable foundation, after alleging he used it to advance business and political interests. That is, again, of course the NRA would help Republicans in their fucking political interests, dude. That's not surprising. One of the Republican Party's main things is like guns. They love their guns, boys. They love them. They love going bang bang. During the news conference after the ruling, James said, she read transcripts of LaPierre's testimony, which was filled with contradictions. Ooh. She reiterated that she intends to see the NRA dissolved. Blah blah, which will ultimately be decided by a judge, not the Attorney General. The discovery process and her lawsuit ongoing. James said she expects the trial to happen sometime in 2022. All right, so we still gotta wait a long ass fucking time to see this shit unfold, I guess. All right. There are individuals and officers who are using the NRA as their personal piggy bank, and they need to be held accountable, James said. Shannon Watts, who founded the Moms Demand Actions for Gun Sense in America, said in a series of tweets that the bankruptcy dismissal comes to the worst possible time for the NRA, right as background checks are being debated in the Senate. Isn't that some crazy shit? Bro, I already covered guns like so much in this country. Alright, Jesus Christ. Alright, it would be enormous, if not impossible, for the NRA to effectively oppose gun safety and lobby lawmakers while simultaneously fighting court battles and mounting debt, said Watts, whose organization is part of the Michael Bloomberg-backed Everytown for Gun Safety. The NRA's financial standing has been updated by the coronavirus pandemic, but there was a consensus during the bankruptcy trial that it remains financially sound. Last year, the group laid off dozens of employees, canceled its national convention, and scuttled fundraising. The NRA's bankruptcy filing listed between $100 million and $500 million. God damn, that's a big chunk of change, boy. Shit. And assets in the same range and liabilities. In announcing the case, trumpeted being its strongest financial condition in years. Adam Skaggs, a chief counsel at the Guilford's Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, said that even a weakened NRA will likely continue to shape America's gun debates. That's very true. Yeah, no shit. Bro, I'm pretty sure people's love for guns is gonna remain strong even though this shit is fucking bankrupt. I think the question is, despite those self-inflicting wounds and despite the fact that they're in some ways a shadow of their former self, they can continue to exert influence and try to keep the opponents of even the most modest reforms to increase gun safety towing the line, he said. Yeah. Look, do I think Texas and the NRA are somehow gonna get together and be like, yeah, let's do this? Yes, of course I do. No shit, dude. I think for sure that's gonna fucking happen. On the topic of gun control, we're gonna look at this. Hold on, let me hold on. Give me a second. We're gonna stay on the topic of guns and gun violence in America. Speaking of the NRA and like guns and shit, we're gonna move back to this. So on Monday, today's Wednesday, and on Monday I covered this story. I covered the Colorado Springs shooter, And here's an update on the victims, and this is just overall more details on the story. Again, this update came back into my radar, hence why I'm talking about it. So we're gonna continue on with this, okay? Colorado Springs shooter was upset that he wasn't invited to the family gathering where he killed 6 people. So if you don't know, long story short, the shooter went to a birthday party, killed 6 people in front of children. So it's horrible, obviously. And we're gonna read the update on what happened, okay? The man who fatally shot 6 people at a birthday party in Colorado Springs was upset at not being invited to the event, authorities said at a news conference Tuesday morning. The police chief said, Terodo Marquez, 28 years old, had been dating Sandra Ibarra, one of the 6 victims for about a year. Ibarra and 5 other members of her extended family were shot in quick succession after the suspect arrived at the home early Sunday with a Smith & Wesson M&P pistol, according to the lieutenant. Smith & Wesson S&P pistol. Hold on. I want to see what this gun looks like. And it's a fucking pistol too. So this is the weapon he used. A typical pistol. Not surprising. Yeah, this is the weapon he used. Look, before I was kind of like, obviously I'm against guns, no shit. But even last year or before, I used to have the mindset that we would get rid of all guns, but we could keep pistols. But now that I'm getting older and I'm learning new shit and I'm learning more about this issue, I think we need to get rid of pistols too. Just get rid of all weapons, all right? If you don't need this. You don't need this. What do you need it for? To hurt people? That's what they're designed to do. You don't need this. You don't need this, all right? You do not need that. Okay. Fairview said that evidence showed the man was upset over the lack of an invitation. Fucking hell, man. When he wasn't invited to the family gathering, the suspect responded by opening fire and killing 6 victims before taking his own life. Chief Vince said 3 children, ages 2, 5, and 11, were unarmed, but the police said there's evidence they witnessed what happened. So these kids literally just witnessed their family being fucking killed in front of them. A 7th adult was also unharmed. The suspect apparently shot himself soon after shooting the others. At the core of this horrendous domestic act, Siski said, she told reporters, the suspect, who was in a relationship with one of the victims, displayed power and control issues in this relationship. The chief said the investigation is still ongoing. My vow to the victims and family is we continue our work to find you every answer you deserve, she told reporters. Oh my god, dude. Okay. On Monday, relative Freddie Marquez said the birthday party was for his wife, Dubai, who left the party early with him. And for Dubai's older brother, Melvin Perez, Marquez identified the deceased victims. Alright. So these are the 6 victims that were killed in this shooting. These are the victims. These are their names. Melvin Perez, who would have turned 31 years old. Okay. Jose Gutierrez, 21 years old, brother of Dubai and Melvin. Maya Perez, 32 years old, wife of Melvin. Joanna Cruz, 53 years old, mother. Okay. Sandra Ibarra, sister. Jose Ibarra, brother of Maya Perez. Police said Sandra Ibarra was 28 years old and Jose Ibarra was 26 years old. The suspect had no criminal history, and investigators haven't found any evidence he was physically abusive to Sandra Ibarra. Investigators in Colorado City recovered 17 shell casings and an empty pistol magazine and another partially loaded 15-round magazine and a 9mm handgun. The gun was purchased by someone else in 2014 and there was no other sale records, nor had the gun been reported stolen. Alright, so listen. This is my problem with guns, alright? So there is no evidence that he legally bought this weapon, right? Well, that he bought this weapon with himself. It's clear that he didn't have a fucking license for it. So you might be asking yourself, how the fuck did he get this gun then if the gun was purchased by someone else in 2014? You might be asking yourself, how does that happen? Well, honey, let me tell you. Private gun sales! Private gun sales, baby. That's how they do it. Private gun sales. It's a huge problem in this fucking country. And shit like this happens. Private gun sales. So if you don't know what a private gun sale is, a private gun sale is when somebody, legally obtains a gun, they buy it, and there's records showing, and they do terrible background checks on the person that aren't even really useful, and they buy the gun, and that person privately sells that weapon to another person, and that person can sell that person who owns the gun can sell that gun privately, and they do not have to be required by law to do background checks on that person they're selling it to. They can just sell it to anybody they want to. And that is a huge problem in this fucking country. That is how a good chunk of people get their guns, if they're not getting it by buying it legally in this country. It's a fucking huge problem. And he had no criminal history. There's always Republican conservatives or something that always use this dumb ass shitty argument saying, well, if we ban guns, it's not going to do anything because people who are criminals are going to go out of their way to buy the gun anyway. I'm like, dumbass, most of the shooters have no criminal fucking history. So what are you saying? Okay, it's so dumb. I'm not going to get too worked up over this because it's too fucking early for that. So we're going to continue reading this, alright? Some left the party early. Marquez and Nubaya, I'm not sure if I'm reading this name right, left the party at around 10 p.m. on Saturday, he said. He and his wife had to go to work at 5 a.m., so she set her alarm for 4 a.m. When they woke up, they realized they had a bunch of missed calls from Melvin's son. When Marquez and his wife learned what happened, they thought it was a joke at first. We're just in shock, just in disbelief, he said. Freddie Marquez said he had only met the suspect once, 4 or 5 months ago. He said he went by the name Junior. When we were at the party, it was just family, said Marquez, referring to the party. It was nobody outside of the family, so when we woke up to the news, we were like, no, why? According to Marquez, some people who were already asleep when the shooting happened, and the adult who survived, the husband of Joanna Cruz, was in the bathroom when the suspect arrived. He said he heard the gunfire and he opened up the bathroom door. Everything had happened already, almost like a blink of an eye, Marquez said. He said the guy was on a mission, basically, like he went in there knowing what he was going to do, Marquez said. He did it and that was that. There was no commotion, there was no fighting. He went in there and did what he was there to do. Okay. They've been starting to make funeral arrangements. He said it's been overwhelming due to the number of family members they're planning for. Yeah, dude, they're planning a fucking funeral for an entire family almost. The friend of the family, Alicia Morales, set up a Facebook fundraiser page. All donations will go directly to the funeral expenses and any addition will help their family. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that's the update on the shooting that happened. I remember when I first covered it, I didn't have a lot of it. I didn't have a lot of details on it. But yeah, it's fucking okay. Again, I will repeat this until the day I fucking die, or when somebody kills me or something. I don't know. It is too easy to get access to a weapon in this country. It is too fucking easy to buy a gun in this country. And I already know this motherfucker bought that gun privately by a private seller, which is legal. in some states. I don't know specifically the laws in Colorado, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if it was fucking legal there for private sellers to do that. And keep in mind, he killed these 6 people in front of kids, in front of children. Kids, dude. And you already know they're gonna grow up with trauma for the rest of their fucking life. This could have been prevented if we had more stricter gun laws, and if more people actually gave a shit about people, instead of choosing a fucking hobby over saving human lives. These people would still be alive. And I want it to really sink in. These are human beings. People who like had kids and family. And now they're dead. And they're never coming back. It's fucking sad. Alright, but we're still not done with guns. We're not. We're going to move on from this. This was the update. We're going to move on to this. If you guys remember this, this was the, okay, a while back, there was a shooting in Atlanta. I covered this story already. I already covered this. I already covered the shootings that happened. Okay, this is an update to that. Atlanta spa shootings were hate crimes, prosecutors say. The direct attorney in Fulton County will seek the death penalty against the suspect in the shooting, saying he targeted some victims because they were of Asian descent. Yeah, dude, no fucking shit. We're gonna immediately get into this. So if we don't remember the shootings, basically, this white guy, he fucking went out to 3 different spas that were known to have Asian people inside, Asian women, and he killed them. I'm pretty sure in this article it's going to recap some of that, so I won't explain all of it. A prosecutor said on Tuesday that the man accused of killing 8 people at spas in and around Atlanta had targeted some of the victims because they were of Asian descent, and she said she was planning on seeking the death penalty against him. So yeah, accused. Bitch, what do you mean? Okay, accused. He did. There's video, there's evidence, okay? The suspect, Robert Aaron Long, 22 years old, who is white, was formally indicted on murder charges on Tuesday for the killings of 3 massage businesses in and around Atlanta, which shook the county in March. Country. God, dude, I cannot fucking read. Which shook the country in March amid a wave of anti-Asian hate crimes. Fannie Willis, the district attorney in Fulton County, which includes Atlanta, said Mr. Long had attacked 4 women at 2 massage businesses there because of their race, national origin, sex, and gender. According to the victims at the Atlanta spas were Korean American women. The authorities have said that Mr. Long drove to the Atlanta businesses after killing 4 people in another spa in the suburb of Cherokee County. This is true. This motherfucker literally drove to 3 separate spas. 3 separate spas. He killed people at one spa, drove like 40 minutes to a different spa, and then he went across the street to another spa and killed more people. The district attorney in Chesapeake County has not indicated that she plans to seek hate crimes against penalties against Mr. Long. 2 of the victims at the spa were of Asian descent, but 2 were white. The police have said the police said after the attacks that Mr. Long had denied targeting the victims because of their because of their race. Instead, he claimed to be struggling with the sex addiction. They said the Atlanta police have said that Mr. Long was a customer at 2 of the Atlanta businesses that he targeted. Though they have not said he went there for sex, a lawyer for Mr. Long said the lawyer for Mr. Long did not return the request for comment. Bro, and I still fucking remember the fucking police chief, or whatever the fuck his name was, when he was talking about the guy, the Long, him, he said he was just having a bad day. I think this was that shooting. Bro, there are so many fucking shootings in this country, it is hard for me to remember which one is which and what police chief said fucking what absurd shit about that case. That is how bad it is here. There are so many shootings in this country. It is hard for me to pinpoint which one I'm talking about. And I'm fucking glued to the news all day. And it's hard for me to remember. And I think this was the one where the cop said, you know, he was just having a bad day. You know, I too have a bad day. And I too go out and fucking kill like over 5 people. I too do that. You know, just regular things. In the news conference Tuesday, Miss Willis, my bad, said she had reviewed statements that Mr. Long had given to investigators and believed that seeking the death penalty and hate crimes and offenses was appropriate. She said she did not lay out any new evidence about his motivations. If you harm any member of our community, you are going to be held accountable, Miss Willis said, adding that she wanted to send a message to the victims that it does not matter your ethnicity, it does not matter what side of the tracks you come from, it does not matter your wealth, you will be treated as an individual with a value. Grand jurors in Fulton County had also indicated that Mr. Long, on one count of domestic terrorism, saying he had intended to intimidate the civilian population of Georgia. The attacks were among the largest scale shootings in public places in more than a year, and stoked fear in many Asian Americans who have increasingly reported being targeted in attacks since the coronavirus pandemic began. All of the women killed in Atlanta were employees of the massage businesses there and had immigrated from South Korea. They were identified as soon as Soon Chung Park, 78 years old, Soon Chi Kim, 69 years old, Young A Yu, 63 years old, and Hyun Jung Grant's 51 years old. Alright, I'm sorry if I pronounced their names wrong, but look, I mess up American names too, okay? I'm just bad at reading. But those are the victims, okay? Those are some of the victims. Ms. Willis filed a notice in court that she will seek a hate crime penalties if Mr. Long is convicted of murder. Under a new Georgia law, a prosecutor can ask the jury to determine if a person is convicted of a crime was motivated by race or other factors, which carries on additional penalty. Ms. Willis said she believes she is the first prosecutor in the state to seek the law out since it went into effect last July. I did not know about that law. I guess I missed it. The attacks began on the evening in March 16th when 4 people were shot and killed at Young's Asian Spa, Asian Massage in Cherokee County. The 6 victims were... Okay, I'm not reading that. I do not know how to pronounce these names. I'm sorry. These were the victims' names. The gunman also shot another man who survived. Shortly after the shootings, the police in Atlanta reported to a call about an attack at a Golden Spa, another massage business, where they found 3 women who had been shot and killed. As they were investigating the scene, they were alerted to another shooting across the street. Okay, they found the last victim, another woman who had been fatally shot. Sheriff's deputies stopped Mr. Long about 150 miles south of Atlanta in Cruz County, where he was driving on the highway. A police officer said the investigation believed Mr. Long was planning to attack a business in Florida connected to the pornography industry. Yeah, I remember that. So he wasn't gonna stop. He was gonna keep going to Florida. He was gonna cross state lines. He was gonna go kill more Asian people in Florida. So there is no stopping him. If the police hadn't got him, he would have kept going. A former roommate at a halfway house said Mr. Long had gone to a Christian addiction center for treatment for his professed sex addiction, but could not stop himself from going to parlors and paying for sex. You know, sex addiction is a huge problem. And I emphasize with anyone who has addictions. But having an addiction is not, and I repeat, is not a fucking justification to kill anybody. Let alone specifically people of Asian descent. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're fucking sick. I don't give a shit if you have an addiction. A lot of people have addictions, but not everyone who has addictions is going out and fucking killing people. The intention to seek the death sentence is a reversal for Miss Willis, who was elected as a district attorney in November after previously serving as a prosecutor in the prosecutor's office. Miss Willis said during her campaign that she could not foresee a case in which would seek the death penalty, according to Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I believe that life without parole is an appropriate remedy, she said, according to the newspaper. On Tuesday, she defended the move. Last year, I told voters of Fulton County that I did not imagine a circumstance where I would seek it. She said, at the time, I did not. Unfortunately, a case has arisen in the first few months of my term, and I believe warrants the ultimate penalty if we shall seek it. What a fucking hypocrite, dude. Who is she again? What's your name, miss? Miss Willis? I want to know her name. I don't care if I'm doing too much. Alright, whatever, it doesn't matter. What a fucking hypocrite, dude. Again, I don't think, look, I don't think he should get the death penalty. I don't care what you say. He shouldn't be in the death penalty. The death penalty in this country should not even exist. What the fuck are we living in? The fucking 1800s or some shit where we stone people to death or some crazy shit like that? No. I know what he did was awful, but that's, no. What the fuck does that make us? No, he doesn't, no. The death penalty should not exist. And for her being a hypocrite and saying like, oh, I don't think the death penalty should be anyone. Dude, let him rot in jail. Let him rot away in a fucking cell for the rest of his life. That's good. Let him sit in a fucking cell forever and let him rot and die in there. God, don't do the death penalty. What's wrong with you? Yeah, now she's being a hypocrite. Yeah, okay. Alright, we're gonna move away from this. You thought we were done with guns? No, the fuck we are not. We're moving to Russia, baby. I saw this and I thought it was important to talk about. Putin orders new gun laws after school shooting kills 9. We're gonna read this and I'm gonna tell you a fucking thing that I have in my head that I want you to know. The Russian president ordered a review of civilian access to semi-automatic weapons after the latest school shooting. Very American of them. Moscow. President Vladimir Putin immediately ordered an overhaul on laws allowing citizens to access semi-automatic weapons after the latest tragic example of Russia's outbreak of US-style school shootings. That is so fucking sad. That we have to say U.S.-style school shootings. Dude, they're copying us. Get your own thing, Russia. School shootings is our thing. At least 9 people were killed after an attack using a semi-automatic shotgun in the city of Kazan on Monday. Children who had become accustomed to the deadly, Colombian or whatever, campaigns across Russia over the last 10 years who were terrified that they leaped from classroom windows to escape the shooting. Jesus Christ, man. A horrifying video circulating on social media shows students plummeting from third-floor windows. Local outlets reported that at least 2 students died from the fall. At least 7 students and 2 student staffers were killed in total. The suspect identified, I'm not reading this fucking Russian ass name, dude. I do not know how to pronounce this. 19 years old, was arrested at the scene. So kids were literally jumping out of fucking windows, dude. Alright, the alleged shooter posted a selfie on Telegram before the massacre, posing in front of a mirror wearing a blood-red face mask and an armored vest with pockets loaded and zippers. On Monday, he posted, I will kill a large number of biological garbage. What? It is not clear yet if the attacker's social media profiles were linked to the dystopian online world of Russian Columbia school shooting fans known as, what the fuck? It was supposed to be the day of celebration at the school. 175 in the semi-autonomous republic and blah blah in southern Russia. The kids were dressed up in white shirts and preparing to the mark of Victory Day, remembering the veterans of World War II. The weapons used in the shooting, blah blah, semi shotgun. I need to know what this shotgun looks like. I need to know what this gun looks like. I'm sorry. I have to see it. So this was the gun he used? Yeah, this was the gun he used apparently to kill all those kids and the staff members. This is it. Okay. It was manufactured by the same Turkish company that made the pump action shotgun used to kill 21 students during the Koresh Polytechnic College massacre in Crimea in 2018. Yep. Okay. The Kremlin said it would move to introduce further restrictions on gun ownership in a country where the rules are already much tighter than the United States. Yep. So why don't you just ban guns then? That seems like the answer. Because obviously they have tighter restriction on guns than the United States, and they're still getting schools shot up. The president gave an order to urgently work out a new provision concerning the types of weapons that could be in civilian hands, taking into account on the weapon used today, Putin's spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said. Russians own more than 20 million guns, fucking noob numbers, under the armpits for hunting and sport. Weapons with magazines that have more than 10 cartridges or fire bursts or bullets are already outlawed. An order granted to permanent citizens must obtain a mental health certificate from the medical professional. See, why can't the U.S. do this? Look, I know Russia's still fucked up and like obviously they're still getting shot up, but why the fuck can't the United States do steps like this? Please, just a crumb of gun control, just a crumb so people can stop fucking dying here. Jesus Christ, dude. Feel shame. I hope Americans feel shame seeing this. Feel the shame. The Russia, fucking Parliament and blah blah is already considered a law designed to punish doctors for misdiagnosing patients or giving firearms permits to people with mental health issues. See, another thing. Why the fuck can't America do this? Why can't, if this was in law, why can't all of this? The trouble is, you can also buy a psychologist medical certificate for less than $20 online. Wow. Alexander, I'm not reading that last name, my guy. Okay, Alexander, head of Sova Center, which monitors radical youth groups, told the Daily Beast that his organization has tackled several social media groups created by Russian teens devoted to fetishizing the Colombian high school massacre. Bro, those are some sick fucks, dude. Teenagers doing this shit? Kids? Bro, if you don't fucking get off of that dumbass group chat and go do your fucking homework, I know you're failing in math class. Go do your homework. Go help your mom wash the dishes. What are you doing, kid? Russian Columbiners are just people haters. They're not politically motivated, he said. Whatever their motivation, their actions have ended lives of dozens of young people across Russia. On October 17, 2018, an 18-year-old college student, Vladishva, Vladislav? Bro, I am so fucking bad at whatever, dude. I'm gonna call you Vlad. Vlad killed 21 people, injured 61 people. I know, okay. Out of school, okay. Last year, another teenager, 18 years old, Danila, killed 7, okay, before committing suicide. Okay, dude. Okay, before embarking on his rampage, blah blah, posted on social media, the day of resurrection is coming soon. The shooter listed his birthday as the same day as the Colombian massacre, April 20th, 1999. Heartbroken families affected by this latest attack demanded to know why the school had such poor security. Why aren't you guys mad on fucking gun control? Officials explained that there had been at least 40,000 schools in Russia, and it would be impossible to provide armed security to each school. Why the fuck are you offering armed security at these? Okay, you know what? Maybe it's just different in Russia. Again, I don't know a lot of stuff about Russia, but okay, whatever, dude. By one account, the alleged shooter wanted to exact a revenge on a former teacher. She told him he would fail in high school and that he would leave after 9th grade, which he did. Okay, look. I wanted to laugh, but I'm not going to. Okay. One peer told a Russian radio station, adding that the suspect was a quiet student and did not have many friends. See, guys, this isn't... Be friends with the quiet kid. I know, like, there's memes about it. Big facts. Be friends with the quiet kid, alright? Blah blah explained that he wouldn't be surprised if the Kazan suspect had been egged at a Russian... Okay, current classroom. What is this, though? What is this? What is this? I don't know what this is. Hold on. Let me, like... I need to see what this is, dude. What? What? Department of Slavic Languages. What? Who are these people? Okay, maybe I'll look into this. I don't know what really that is. In chat rooms, I think the Kurd shooter who killed more than 20 people impresses them, he said. Okay, and that's all we get. Alright. So, long story short, there was a shooting, okay, in Russia. Jesus Christ, man. But now the president of Russia is trying to put more stricter gun laws, which is a good thing. See, just this right here, just this that I highlighted is more than enough, alright? Shit, get out of my face. This is more than enough. Why can't the United States do something like this? And I know people are going to be like, well, they're doing it in Russia and it's obviously not working because there's people still shooting up schools. Yeah, motherfucker, that's why you should ban guns. Get rid of them. Fucking 18-year-old little kids shouldn't be having them. The fuck is wrong with you? This proves my point. That even if you have all these restrictions, it's still not going to be perfect, but it makes it better. And this is just another example of why we should ban guns. Look, dude, this is why I brought this up. Fucking Russia is doing better than us, alright? Fucking, we're losing to Russia. We are losing to fucking Russia. Feel that shame. Feel the shame. Feel the shame. We are losing to fucking Russia. I hope you feel bad knowing that. Literally losing to Russia. Because at least, I mean, the president's fucking crazy. Vladimir Putin's a fucking animal. He's insane. But, you know, at least he's pretending to give a shit, and he's putting up new gun laws to make sure shit like this doesn't happen again. Okay? Keep that in mind. We are literally losing to Russia. While America's like, ooh, la la la, make access to guns easier. Remember that. Maybe, I'm curious about that thing. I'm curious about this. I don't know what's happening in Russia. I don't know what that is. But maybe I'll look into it later on. I'm not sure. If I care enough about it, I will. But we're going to move on from this. We're going to move on to Liz Cheney. Okay? I haven't talked about Liz Cheney before. Like in an actual story. I don't think I have. Long story short, she's a fucking crazy ass lady. She's a bitch and I don't like her. I don't think anyone likes her anymore because I think even her own party is going against her, which is what we're going to talk about. Alright, so I've been avoiding talking about this, but after, like, the algorithm is like, hey, you want to see Liz Cheney, right? You love Liz Cheney. I'm like, you know what? Alright, fine, I'll bite. So I don't really know what's happening, but hopefully this article finally explains it to me. Liz Cheney strikes a definite tone on the floor on eve of her expected ousting from the GOP leadership. So yeah, I think what happened, what I know so far is I think basically she was kind of like, she was basically saying like what Donald Trump did is bad and like he didn't actually win the election and some other stuff, you know, basically having a little bit of common sense, but when before she was just advocating for Trump not that long ago. So she's a hypocrite, obviously. And this is just proof to show that there is no space or room for Republicans to be fucking sane human beings. Or at least attempt to be sane. Alright? Okay, we're gonna read this. Representative Liz Cheney vowed Tuesday evening not to remain silent as former President Donald Trump continues to spread lies that the election was stolen from him, striking a definite tone ahead of an expected vote to remove her from the Republican House leadership on Wednesday. Yeah, so because she's saying this, the Republicans, House Republicans, are like, no, you are not allowed to act like that. The Wyoming Republican, who is all but certain to be removed as the conference chair after her continued criticism of Trump, declared that she would not join with other leaders who ignore Trump's lies, embodying him and threatening democracy. I don't give a shit that she's doing this. I mean, she's still a fucking asshole. Okay, we must speak the truth. Our election was not stolen and America has not failed, Cheney said. Every one of us who has sworn the oath must act to prevent the unveiling of our democracy. This is not about policy. This is not about partisanship. This is about our duty as Americans, remaining silent and ignoring the lie boldens that liar. Cheney said, "I will not sit back and watch in silence while others lead our party down the path that abandons the rule of law and joins the former president's crusade to undermine our democracy." Dude, it's a wrap. It is a fucking wrap for the Republican Party. I swear to God. Dude, it is a wrap. Forever, the Republican Party will be Donald Trump's little bitch. There is no space for any Republican to be against Donald Trump anymore. There's no way. You have to be like an extreme Trumper or you're not a Republican. Which, I mean, it makes sense because Donald Trump stood for everything that Republicans stood for. He just enhanced it and shown the Republican Party for what it really is. So he's not that crazy. He just showed what Republicans... Donald Trump just showed who Republicans really are, and that's it. That's just it, dude. That's it. House Republicans Conference is expected to vote to remove Cheney from her leadership role on Wednesday. The vote comes after House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy soared on Cheney. In recent weeks, she was vocal on her criticisms of Trump for continuing to lie about the election. The California Republican also backed Republican Representative Elisa, a New York replacement, as Cheney. Yeah, I heard of this woman. Her. So because they're removing Liz Cheney from the Republican House, they want to replace Cheney with this woman. With this Republican, this lady. Her name is Elisa. I don't know how to spell her name. She's fucking crazy too. She's fucking insane. If you think, oh, she's a better pick, no, she is not. She's fucking insane. And this is their first pick. Look, she's a Republican. Of course, she went to Harvard University. Ooh. She's 39 years old. Yeah, for sure. They want her to be the replacement of Liz Cheney, which isn't surprising. I mean, she's fucking insane too, so don't think that she's sane when she's not. She's fucking crazy. I'm keeping my eye on her. Okay, a blog faces no opposition for the position. Yeah, she's gonna take that position, dude. It's not right. It's not about what's right or wrong. It's about the focus of our conference and focusing on pushing back the agenda that's being pushed by the Biden administration. Representative Steve, blah, blah, Louisiana said. Okay, Cheney argued on the floor that Trump's lies about the election has misled millions of Americans, undermining the democratic process and threatening more violence beyond January 6th attack on the Capitol. Yeah. Today we face a threat America has never seen before, Cheney said. A former president who provoked a violent attack on this Capitol in an effort to steal the election has resumed his aggressive effort to convince Americans that the election was stolen from him. He risks inciting further violence. Yeah, dude, no shit. Have you seen Republicans, how fucking crazy they are? No shit, you're one of them. Cheney argued in his speech that she is a conservative in a swipe at Trump's congressional lies, who have been pushing for her ouster since January vote to impeach him. Yeah, what? Yeah. No, she was one of the people who fucking impeached Donald Trump, right? Well, yeah, no shit. It just fucking says right here. I'm a dumbass. All right. Cheney spoke Tuesday evening after her members from the House Freedom Caucus, the conservative group that led the charge for her removal, gave a series of speeches on the House floor railing against cancel culture. Oh my god, dude, I fucking love it. Yes, give me this like fucking Republican crazy shit. As Cheney spoke, the lawmakers most clearly out of chamber with Republican Kevin Ken Buck of Colorado, the sole member who stayed on the floor. I am a conservative Republican and the most conservative of conservative principles and reverence for that rule of law, she said. The election is over. That rule of law, that is our constitutional process. Those who refuse to accept the rulings of our courts are at war with the Constitution. Representative Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, who was one of the 10 Republicans, including Cheney, who voted to impeach Donald Trump earlier this year, blasting his party's leadership following Cheney's remarks. Kevin McCarthy, an employee of Donald Trump, may win tomorrow, but history won't be kind. Never has our party gone after its own leadership like this. But Kevin and C blah 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 make history because Donald Trump has thin skin. I'd be embarrassed if I was them. Okay, even before Wednesday's vote, Cheney had been looking beyond her expulsion from the House GOP leadership and the next steps of her plan to fight the Republican Party, enlisting help from Bush administration and other conservatives who have already spoken out against Donald Trump. Yeah, there's like a handful of them. There's like a handful of Republican conservatives who are against Donald Trump because, I mean, who wouldn't be against? I mean, he's fucking crazy. But again, like I said, I don't think there's any room for people. Again, if you're a Republican conservative or something, I don't think there's any room for you to be against Donald Trump. Just be a Democrat, all right? There's no chance you're going to be a Republican conservative and be against Donald Trump. That's illegal. You can't do that. 3 people familiar with these conversations told CNN that Cheney had become more actively engaged with Republicans outside of the House conference in recent days, talking and strategizing with these allies about her path forward. The first piece of the plan comes in her appointed speech on the House floor Tuesday night, which one friend described as a model of her path forward. In coming days, the next steps we plan will become clearer, including an effort to rally the voices of Republicans who share her view. Other GOP confidence said Cheney intends to make clear that she has no intentions of abandoning the Republican Party. Well, girl, you might as well do that. There is no room for you. Leave. They're gonna kick you out anyway. They're gonna vote you out anyway, dude. The Republican Party is literally gonna vote you out, a Republican, because you do not agree with Donald Trump. Therefore, there is no room for you in that party. Republicans say if you don't agree with Donald Trump and if you don't like him, you do not belong in the Republican Party. So just leave. And she's too fucking crazy to be a Democrat. No. Again, if you're a conservative Republican and you don't like Donald Trump, I'm sorry, there's no place for you. Just be a Democrat or be a moderate. All right, that's better for you. But you can no longer be called a Republican conservative. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. All right. Okay, this is focus. Let's focus on bro. I cannot fucking read. All right. Liz's full focus is outside the Capitol. The Bush, Illumina's a long-term friend of Cheney. Tells CNN. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Okay, Liz is focused on blah. CNN where she would make her case about future Republican of Republican Party. Okay, yeah. I want to watch the video, though. There's a video of her. Oh, shit. Don't look at my search history. Please, no. There's a video of her talking on the House floor, and I want to hear her talk because I want to make fun of her. Okay, where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Here it is. Hold on, Liz. Hold on a second, ma'am. Okay, hold on. I want to hear her talk.
Tonight, I rise to discuss freedom and our constitutional duty to protect it.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I have been privileged to see firsthand how powerful and how fragile freedom is.
How fat. Bro, I'm fucking 5 years old. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. Look, I'm gonna be pausing this shit so much. So, like, yeah, I'm gonna be pausing this a lot.
How powerful and how fragile freedom is. 28
I was gonna make a joke, but it's fucked up, so I'm not gonna
years
say it.
ago, I stood outside a polling place, a schoolhouse in western Kenya. Soldiers had chased away people who were lined up to vote. A few hours later, they came streaming back in, risking further attack, undaunted in their determination to exercise their right to vote.
Damn, when did suddenly Liz Cheney be kind of woke?
In 1992, I sat across a table from a young mayor in Nizhny Novgorod, Russia, and I listened to him talk of his dream of liberating his nation from communism. Years later,
Communism, brother, it's a disease. Communism, brother, there ain't no place for communism. You see, Vladimir Putin, he's a communist. And communism, brother, and communism.
for his dedication to the cause of freedom, Boris Nemtsov was assassinated by Vladimir Putin's thugs. In Warsaw in 1990, I listened to a young Polish woman tell me that her greatest fear was that people would forget. They would forget what it was like to live under Soviet domination, that they would forget the price of freedom. 3 men, an immigrant who escaped Castro's totalitarian regime, a young man who grew up behind the Iron Curtain and became his country's Minister of Defense, and a dissident who spent years in the Soviet Gulag, have all told me it was the miracle of America, captured in the words of President Ronald Reagan, that inspired them.
Ugh.
And I
Okay.
have seen the power of faith and freedom.
You see how Republican she is? Fucking talking good about Ronald Reagan, dude. If you don't like Donald Trump, why the fuck do you like Ronald Reagan?
Listened to Pope John Paul II speak to thousands in Nairobi in 1985. And 19 years later, I watched that same Pope take my father's hands, look in his eyes, and say, "God bless America."
Alright, girl, you are so boring. I'm gonna skip it.
Today, we face a threat America has never seen before. A former president who provoked a violent attack on this Capitol in an effort to steal the election has resumed his aggressive effort to convince Americans that the election was stolen from him. He risks inciting further violence. Millions of Americans have been misled by the former president. They have heard only his words, but not the truth, as he continues to undermine our democratic process, sowing seeds of doubt about whether democracy really works at all. I am a conservative Republican, and the most conservative of conservative principles is reverence for the rule of law. The Electoral College has voted. More than 60 state and federal courts, including multiple judges the former president appointed, have rejected his claims. The Trump Department of Justice,
Fuck, where are the other people at? Okay, again, it's so boring. We already read this.
as Americans. Remaining silent and ignoring the lie emboldens the liar.
Alright, we get it. I thought it was gonna be something else. I thought it was gonna be more interesting, but I guess not. Are people in the comments shitting on here? Oh my god, look at people simping. Dick Cheney's daughter is Bro, look at all these fucking libs! Bro, look at all of these fucking, like, liberal, fucking democratic little people. Bro, look at, I knew it. I knew libs. I fucking knew libs would come out and be like, yeah, we like Liz Cheney now because she doesn't like Donald Trump. It's like, okay, dude, whatever. She's still a fucking bitch and I hate her. I do not like her. And I already knew liberals and like fucking libs would be like, yeah, Liz Cheney's woke now, so we like her. She's hella woke. Don't you get that? Bro, fuck this shit. Alright, I'm moving on. We're gonna move on to an even worser demon. You might be thinking to yourself, who could that be? Dun dun dun! Cruz. Ted Cruz, dude. Fucking that motherfucker from Texas. Alright? I saw this abhorrent shit. I saw this abhorrent ass shit yesterday, and I didn't read it, but I was like, I need to cover this, cause it's fucking insanity. So I'm gonna cover this, alright? It's fucking crazy. Cruz calls Democrats voting an overhaul bill Jim Crow 2.0. Very classy. Texas Republican Senator whatever, or Senate, whatever the fuck. Is he a senator? Hold on, I should know this. Ted Cruz. I'll put Crux. Oh, he is a U.S. senator. Oh, he's a senator of Texas. I knew he was obviously in Congress, but no shit. I thought he was a representative. I should have known that. I forget, dude. There's too many of them. I'm sorry. I am sorry I forgot. Also, I should have warned you. His face is right there. I'm sorry you guys had to look at that. Oh my god, there it is again. Alright, I'm sorry I keep showing you his face. My apologies. I'm sorry for scarring you. Alright, we're gonna read this. Alright, Republican Senator Ted Cruz called Democrats' sweeping voting system overhaul Jim Crow 2.0 and put the blame for the racist suppression laws passed on Democrats. Okay, let's get this bullshit. I already know I'm gonna get fucking mad, so let's get through it, bro. Angry, scary heights is near. Speaking at the Senate markup hearing on Tuesday for the People Act, dubbed HR 1 in the House and S1 in the Senate, Cruz acknowledged Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer describing Jim Crow laws. He's right. Jim Crow laws were bigoted, racist, and disenfranchised millions of people. Cruz said it was worth remembering that those Jim Crow laws were drafted by Democrats. They were implemented by Democrats, and they kept Democrats in power. This is a fucking take. I see so many Republican conservatives trying to say, like during slavery and shit, they're like, well, Democrats with the beep, 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 beep. It fucking pisses me off because it's so stupid that it's so obvious that they don't know history. Alright, look, if you don't know, back in the day, Democrats were considered Republicans, and Republicans were considered Democrats. This happened a while back, but they switched sides. So, back then, Democrats were known as Republicans. So Republicans now, back then, would be known as Democrats. Do you understand that? It's like flipping the party names, okay? Just flipping the party names. But as history went on, the parties flipped names. Hence why it's kind of weird if you see that he says they were drafted by Democrats. You might be like, that's kind of weird. Well, guess what? Basically, look, I already explained it, alright? I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but that's basically what it is, alright? He's a fucking idiot for saying this dumb shit. Thank you, Ted Cruz, for reminding us how fucking stupid you are. Thank you for telling us how dumb you are. Thank you. I needed to remember that. Today's talking point repeated in media is the Democrats of yesterday, not today. Cruz continued, referring to an often ideological and demographic shift of the party. Well, today Democrats are doing it again. The legislation, to use the phrase that has been popularized in the media lately, is Jim Crow 2.0, he said. The Jim Crow 2.0 description is cheeky appropriation of the term many Democrats recently used to criticize Republican-led states' election integrity legislation and law in Georgia and elsewhere. The Democrats' voting bill, Cruz asserted, is intended to register millions of illegal immigrants to vote, and a claim that has been refuted by fact-checkers. Cruz also said the bill would allow felons who are out of prison to register to vote, would complicate state voter ID laws, and legalize ballot harvesting and practice of having a person other than the voter code. Okay, yeah. So obviously you have Republicans trying to scare white people. Look, all of this is to scare white people. Republicans do this shit because they know how much white people get scared all the time. So they're using this to scare white people. They're saying, this bill is going to let immigrants vote. And we already know that you're scared of brown people and you fear them. Well, guess what? They're going to let immigrant brown people vote. So you should be scared. And they're also going to be scared of felons who are, black. When white people think of felons, they immediately think of black people. All right? It's true. And they're going to say they're going to let them criminals and them black and brown people out of prison and vote. Brother, that's what's going to happen. Which is fucking dumb. Obviously, they're doing this to scare the shit out of white people, which isn't surprising because Republican strategies are always... The Republican strategy is to always scare the ever-living shit out of white people. That's literally it. Okay, the legislation would disfranchise millions of Americans. Many of us are referring to the legislation as the Corrupt Politicians Act. Cruz said the legislation is designed to ensure that Democrats never lose an election. This is true. You might be saying, Scary, why the fuck are you agreeing with Ted Cruz? But guess what? If it was easier to vote, and if black and brown people had easier access to vote and to express and to fucking practice in democracy, and to have democracy actually be practiced and played out accordingly, and if black and brown people actually had better opportunities to get their voices heard and to vote, yeah, this is true. Democrats would stay in power. No Republican would ever be in power if all Democrats and the black and brown people had easier access to vote. This is true. Because like I said a while back, I said, there's more Democrats in this country than there are Republican. But Republicans in power make it harder for people to vote so they can stay in power. Because they know that if it was easier, they wouldn't ever be in power again. Alright, it's simple math. The bill doesn't protect voting rights. It steals voting rights from American people. How does it steal the voting rights from American people? It steals it by making it easier for people to vote and make it more convenient for them to vote. Alright, whatever, dude. Is that it? I think that's it. But we're not done yet. We're gonna read this, okay? So, I was gonna try to find an article that isn't really biased, but I read a tiny bit of this and it seems biased, but I'm gonna read it anyway because I don't care. I'm too lazy to actually find an article that isn't biased. So yeah. So I'm gonna stick with this one. I'm too lazy to find an article that isn't biased. Okay. Senator Ted Cruz says making it easier to vote is actually Jim Crow 2.0. Republicans are trying to block the For the People Act, Democrats' top priority legislative package. Senate Republicans issued a slew of charismatic warnings on Tuesday as they tried to sink voting reform, claiming Democrats' top priority package would dismantle faith in democracy and suppress millions of voters. Yes, making it easier for people to vote is actually suppressing votes. Very nice. As their own party pushes voting limitations nationwide. Yes, we're gonna get into this. I have covered so many fucking times laws like in Georgia and in Texas and in other states that are every day making it harder for people to vote. I cover it all the time, and we're gonna cover it after this too. Okay, Senator Ted Cruz, yeah, he calls it okay. It's an absurd. Jim Crow laws were aimed at making it nearly impossible for black Americans to vote. The Democrats' bill, the For the People Act, would make voting easier, streamline registration process, and prevent partisan gerrymandering, among other reforms. The legislation is profoundly dangerous, and the reason it suppresses millions of votes by allowing millions of people to vote illegally. So he's basically saying, what he wants to say is black and brown people shouldn't be allowed to vote. That's basically what he's saying. Cruz said during the Senate Rules Committee hearing on the bill, it is not the intended effect that would be the actual effect of this bill. It dilutes the legal votes of American citizens. Okay? Again, he's just saying a bunch of bullshit, so I don't want to comment on that really, because we all know Ted Cruz is a fucking idiot. During a brief halfway interview with Cruz's comments, HuffPost pointed out that the Jim Crow voting era laws actually stopped black people from voting. And in this instant, Democrats want to stop voters from voting Democrats out of power, Cruz replied. Republicans plan to spread the hearing, offering countless amendments meant to tank the bill. Many of the voting reforms Democrats are proposing are popular with the public. Yeah, no shit, Democrat policies are popular with the fucking public. Alright. Which perhaps explains why Republicans are grasping at exaggerations, misleading statements, and flat-out lies to push back. Yeah, no shit, because they're fucking scared. Cruz claims the bill is intended to register undocumented immigrants to vote. Remember, guys, you're not a Republican if you don't make out immigrants to be horrible, disgusting monsters. It does not authorize this. It is meant to benefit Democrats. And he refused to provide any evidence that 18 states that allow for automatic voter registration had registered undocumented immigrants who voted in their elections. Wow, interesting how he has no evidence to back up his fucking statements and claims. Interesting. It's a lie. And I know you might be saying, well, okay, dumbass, why do I have to keep repeating it and saying it over and over again? We get it. No, I have to keep saying it because there are dumbasses out there who don't get it and who don't understand. He argued instead that the legislation is subject to Jim Crow laws that both were pushed by Democrats, a statement that ignores the fact that the Democrats are... Look, you know what's funny that I just realized right now? So Ted Cruz is basically saying like, oh, the package that Republicans want to push is actually Jim Crow laws, which is meant to prevent black people from voting. Why wouldn't Republican voters be for that then? If he's saying that, then wouldn't Republicans be like, fuck yeah, dude, let's support Democrats then. Let's not get them black people to vote, brother. Wouldn't they say that then? Oh my god, okay. Bro, I'm tired. Alright. Republicans claim the bill is solely a power grab to take from the local election boards and that it would create mass voter fraud. Sir, there has been no evidence ever in history of mass voter fraud, but go off. The arguments build on former Donald Trump's lies that the 2020 election was stolen. The 2016 election was rigged and the voting is a whole rifle fraud. His claims helped motivate supporters to storm the Capitol on January 6th and are being used across the country to push voter restrictions. Now they help seek voting reform. Passage was already a long shot. Senator Joe Manchin had already signed the package and must be bipartisan to win his support. Fuck Joe Manchin. Alright, I'm sorry. Bro, dude, straight up, fuck Joe Manchin. Meaning the Senate Democrats don't have 50 votes in favor. Much less 10 they need to bipartisan filibuster. Okay, there's no way that they're getting 10 fucking Republicans to vote for it. There's no way. We're not gonna win this, alright? I don't understand. And I'm pretty sure when House seats are gonna go up for election and shit, I already know Democrats are gonna lose seats. This has happened before, where there's a Democrat in power and they lose House seats. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen again, which is fucking upsetting. And like I said, I don't think Democrats are doing enough. I really don't think they're doing enough. They need to do more. They need to be hard and aggressive and fast. If you want people to fucking vote for you, you need to do more popular policies, get them done, fight for them aggressively and publicly. Don't be afraid to fight for them. But guess what? They're not going to do that though, because that makes them seem progressive and people are going to call them socialist, and they're scared of that. Like I said, Democrats are too weak. That's just how it is. It is what it is. But Democrats have vowed to fight hard for the bill, which they consider particularly given the state-level efforts to voting access. Well, obviously not hard enough, but whatever. Republicans said that Democrats are out for their own benefit. Yeah, no shit, dumbasses. Of course they're out for their own fucking benefit. Fucking Republicans do the same shit. Isn't that the point of each party? Is to go out for their own benefit so that they win? God, most of the time I feel like these people forget that they're fucking serving for people. Okay, bro, I need to relax. Okay, this legislature is designed to ensure Democrats never lose an election. Yep, that's true. Which should happen, but whatever. I mean, Republicans shouldn't be in fucking power at all. Cruz said despite Republicans picking up 14 House seats during the highest voter turnout in over 100 years in 2020. Yep, what'd I say? If this bill were to pass, nobody will have any confidence in our democracy, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said. Fuck Mitch McConnell. Alright? Bro, I just remembered how Mitch McConnell looked like. I just saw his image. I just saw his face in my head, and I just remembered what he looked like. That's fucked up, though, so I'm not... Okay. Echoing the manufactured concerns about the election integrity raised by pro-Trump lawmakers who challenged the 2020 election result. None whatsoever. Let's call it what it is. Put aside flowery language. This is a persuasive effort to take over. You conducted elections in your country, in your county, in our country. McConnell's assertions ignored the confidence that the U.S. elections was undetermined by Trump's lies that the Republican Party orchestrated widespread voter fraud, a falsehood. Bro, I said it again. A falsehood affirmed by 147 Republican members of Congress who voted to overturn the election results. In fact, McConnell seemed to forget that happened at all. Yeah, no shit, dude. I mean, McConnell's so fucking old, he probably did forget. I mean, he probably did. I'm like straight up, he probably did. That dude's old. Nobody on our side is gonna argue that bro, I cannot read this word. McConnell said during the hearing, referring to voter fraud, Republicans argue that the decision on voting laws should be left to state and local officials and that the bill goes too far in implementing national standards. Okay. They also argued that it gave too much power to Democrats in its overhaul of the federal election commissions by switching the number of commissioners from 6 to 5. That would shift from 3 members of each party to 2 from each to another one. Okay, whatever. Critics say the oversight board is a current split, which is required by law, makes it ineffectual. The committee rejected the amendment. Okay, blah blah. Throughout the day, the committee rejected a number of amendments from both Democrats and Republicans. Republicans' amendments not adopted by the committee, including those requiring states' agencies to verify citizenship status. People will automatically register to vote, striking the provision mandating the disclosure of dark money, allowing states to prevent voters from affirming their status without showing photo ID, and limiting who may return an absentee ballots on behalf of a voter. Yep, seems pretty Republican to me. Democrat amendments have failed, including on one offered by Senate John Ossoff, the senator from Georgia, aimed at preventing status from banning nonpartisan voters from providing water to voters waiting in line, as his home state did in this new election law. Yeah, I remember this. I already covered this already. The failure of the Democratic amendments cast a light on a slim margin by which party controls the Senate. With each party holding 50 members, Democrats control the chamber because of Vice President Kamala Harris's tie-breaking vote, but the committees are evenly divided. With the 9 members of each on the Rules Committee, amendments are not adopted when they are in a tie committee. Senator Roy Blunt said Republicans want to make it easier to vote and harder to cheat. What? There is no cheating. What the fuck are you talking about? What the absolute fuck are you talking about, dude? But Democrats' voting bill would do the opposite. HuffPost asked Blunt if he was trying to imply that there was cheating in the last election, which he previously said was not rigged. It does not imply that, though I am sure there was some cheating in the last election, he said. Bro, if there was some cheating in the last election, it wasn't enough to overturn an entire fucking election, you dumb fuck. Alright, bro. We're not done with this. Well, we're not done on the topic of voting rights. We're going to move away from this. And we're going to talk about this. Speaking of making it harder for people to vote, Arizona Republicans enact sweeping changes to the state's early voting list. Let's see what this bullshit is. Alright. Shortly after Arizona Republicans, lawmakers approved it. The Governor Doug Ducey, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Ducey on Tuesday quickly signed a bill into law that could remove tens of thousands of voters from the state's early ballot mailing list. What was that again about Republicans wanting people to vote? Where is that again? Voters who sign up for the state's permanent early voting list are automatically sent a ballot for every election in which they're eligible to vote. Okay, the PELV has grown increasingly popular with each passing election in Arizona, and whether voters actually use their early ballot or not to date has been irrelevant. But the Senate Bill 1485, sponsored by Republican Senator Michelle Argentine Rita, takes the permanent out of PELV. Her elections rebans the PELV as the active voting early voting list, a name that highlights the main purpose of the measure: to remove voters from the list if they don't use their early ballot at least once in 2 straight year election cycles, and if they don't respond to a notice county officials warning them of removal. Voting the old-fashioned way in person at the polling site wouldn't count either. What a fucking bitch. Okay, look, I don't really like calling women bitches. I try my best not to call women bitches, but what a fucking bitch. Like, actually, what a bitch. I gotta see what you fucking look like, Michelle. Who are you? I never heard of this woman. I have never heard of this woman before. Okay, an Arizona state senator. Of course she's a Republican. What a fucking bitch. Are you serious? This is what this monster looks like. What a fucking asshole, dude. And girl, that red is not doing you any justice. What a fucking asshole, dude. Okay, that I don't know why that pissed me off so much. Alright? Her legislate. Okay, yeah. So basically, she's defeating the purpose of the PELV. Alright, got it. Okay, SB 1485 is not retroactive, and it won't alter the PELV until the 2024 elections. The bill passed along party lines, 16-14 vote in the state Senate on Tuesday. Of course it did. Democrats accused Republicans of pushing of unnecessary change that will make it harder to vote. A response, they said, to record turnout in 2020 when President Biden became the first Democrat to win in Arizona since 1996. See, I remember there was tension during the election where we were like, are we going to win Arizona or not? And I knew it. As soon as we fucking won it, I knew the fucking people in Arizona were going to be like panicking. And obviously they did this out of panic to make sure a Democrat doesn't ever win again, because they're making it harder for people to vote. Okay, the desperate desire of one party to game the system and hold on to power by erecting hurdles to voters of color and to limit the means while overwhelmed by professed support of good public policy. House Majority Leader. Do y'all hear that? God damn, a big ass, fat ass helicopter just flew over my fucking house, dude. Okay, whatever. House Majority Leader Reginald Boulding said in a statement, I've heard of this person before. Democrats, independents, seniors, Native Americans, African Americans, Latinos, women, and young people, if you have ever believed that your voice and your vote didn't matter, this bill is absolutely a reminder that it does. Okay, Republican lawmakers defend the legislation as it is an effort to clean up the voting list and ensure ballots aren't being mailed to voters who moved or are no longer eligible to vote or are deceased. See, look, this is the fucking same dumb ass take that they always fucking have. Alright, dude, yeah, sure. Others said it was simply necessary to restore voters' confidence in the U.S. in the electoral. How the fuck is this giving voters fucking confidence? How is it giving voters confidence that you're taking their names off of the ballot list? Tell me how the fuck is that giving people confidence? Because it's not. The bill is simple. Ducey said in the video of himself signing the measure, it's all about election integrity. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be talking like this, but fuck off. It pisses me off so fucking much, dude. The bill had stalled for weeks in the Arizona House as criticism of Republican legislator efforts around the voting mounted in the state and around the country. SB 1485 was one of the 3 bills targeted at Greater Phoenix leadership and Phoenix area CEOs, including Arizona Cardinals President Michelle Bidwell, as part of the GOP effort to disenfranchise voters. Alright, bro. These proposals are a certain effort in these Arizona, okay, blah, blah, and across the nation who wish to sow additional doubts about our election in the minds of voters and feed the paranoia that is plagued in our political discourse Over the past several months, business leaders wrote on an open letter to Arizona lawmakers. Disturbingly, each of these proposals have one thing in common, making it difficult for Arizonans to vote. Bro, and the fact that I almost went to the University of Arizona. Fuck. I remember I got accepted there to the University of Arizona. Thank God I didn't end up going. Alright, whatever. Republicans pushed ahead, but after clearing the House and the party line vote in April, SB 1485 stalled again to the state Senate, went blah blah, okay, blah 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 blah. At the same time, Senator Kelly Townsend said she'd refuse to vote for any election legislation until the Senate Republicans complete a controversial review of the 2020 general election in Maricopa County. That review is still ongoing, but on Tuesday, Townsend flipped, though she just justified her decision by announcing she'd been assured by Arizona lawmakers would consider more changes to the state elections in the coming weeks. Townsend did not specify what issue she believes needs to be fixed prior to the 2022 election. Yeah, no shit she didn't, because there is no fucking problem, but they make up problems, and they find, in quotes, solutions to solve those problems that do not exist. Ducey takes swipe at critics. Okay, yeah, dude, give it to me. Give it to me. Do it. I want you to. Because you can't, motherfucker. Throughout the legislation process, Republicans blistered at criticism that the bill targets certain demographics of voters, but they did not optimize amendments to try and make SB 1485 more palatable. The legislation would have initially required voters to use their early ballot and the earliest one, probably blah blah, in the constructive election cycles. Critics noted that the requirement was particularly harmful for Arizona's many independent voters who don't automatically receive ballots for partisan primary elections. So Republicans added certain municipal elections, blah 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 blah. Okay, elections on the list that would count towards achieving an active voter status. What the fuck kind of bullshit is that? Alright, whatever. Republicans also gave voters more time to respond to a notice mailed by county's elections officials to avoid being removed from the list. Oh, thank you so fucking much for doing that. How about you don't remove them from the list at all, like it was before? From 30 days to 90 days. Oh, how generous of them to offer 90 days. How generous of them. Thank you. Such sweethearts. How about you just don't do that? Keep them on the fucking list. They're on there for a reason, right? They're on there to be permanent. Fucking idiots. Alright, whatever. Alright, county officials have also blah, 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 to reach out to voters by phone or email, rather simply than sending them the mail notice. Alright, whatever. Still, Democrats have hoped Ducey, who defended Arizona's election process in front of President Donald Trump last fall, would veto the bill they characterized as unnecessary. No, he's gonna pass the bill. What are you talking about? He's gonna pass it. Democrats like Senator Martin Quezada, I do not know how to read your name, have warned that the SB 1485 and other measures would disproportionately harm low-income communities and communities of color. Yeah, no shit. That's what they always do. On Tuesday, Ducey accused critics of using despicable and heated rhetoric to lobby against the bill, and said his past defense of Arizona's election doesn't preclude him from changing the system. I'm very proud of Arizona's election system, and I've been a vocal champion of it from the state capitol, the Oval Office. Then why, if you're so proud of it, why the fuck are you trying to change it for? Because of that, many suggest that I can never support any improvements. That's ridiculous, bitch. These aren't improvements, all right? These aren't improvements. But he knows that. He knows that. Again, he's a Republican. They know that. Ducey also took a preemptive swat at businesses community, though he was careful to aim his critique at large corporations outside of Arizona. For reasons I do not fully understand, elsewhere in America, large corporations have decided to insert themselves into the debate over election law. These businesses have seemed to embrace the static view of elections, freeze the systems where they are, view any change suspiciously. He added, it's wrong, dead wrong. Yeah, okay, dude. Okay. Some Republicans I am having a terrible time reading today. Alright, some Democrats pointed out the potential economic consequences as a back blow against the bill, noting that the Major Baseball League pulled the All-Star Game out of Atlanta, and Georgia lawmakers. Arizona is scheduled to host the Super Bowl in 2023. Okay, you know what's sad? You know what's so fucking sad? The fact that large corporations have to cut off their contact with the state because of voter suppression, and then that state goes into a panic. Then the state's like, oh no, like, but why? And then they start having a hissy fit because they're losing money. Because they're losing money. I'm losing me money, SpongeBob. And that's the only reason why, dude. And that's fucking crazy to me. That's so sad. Alright, whatever. Fuck that lady who was in here somewhere. I forgot her name already. Alright, what was she? The senator? I don't. Was that for the last one? I forgot. Alright, we're gonna move on from this. I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. We're gonna move away from voting and stuff like that. And we're gonna get into police brutality. So there's been an update. There's been an update on Andrew Brown Jr. If you don't know, if you don't remember, I already covered this. I'm trying to remember right now what happened. He was shot and killed inside of his car. And one of the shots was in the back of his head. Okay? And I remember only one family member or some of the family members were able to see small clips of the body camera footage from the police. And I'm pretty sure the only reason why the police department allowed them to see small clips of the body camera footage is because they know that if they're allowed to see the entire video, they would understand that this is another example of extreme police brutality. Okay? We're going to read this. So this was an update that I saw. Alright, police body camera video shows Andrew Brown Jr.'s shooting was unjustified, attorney says. So this was the victim. After viewing the body at the... Okay, bro, I'm sorry. After viewing body and dash camera footage of Andrew Brown Jr.'s death, attorneys and family members of Brown said Tuesday that it proves police were unjustified in shooting him. Brown was fatally shot on April 21st. When Pasquotank County, I don't know how to read that, the county, oh shit, bro, get that out of my face. Deputies in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, were trying to execute a warrant. Okay, Chance Lynch, one of the Brown's family attorneys, said he and the family were able to watch 6 videos. The first video was a dash camera video with no sound, and at least 5 were all body camera footage. We were able to see some critical footage that yields some truth and transparency to what we thought we could see from the beginning, Lynch said during a news conference on Tuesday. Okay. The county sheriff deputy Daniel Fogg said Tuesday the video showed the attempt to serve an arrest warrant against Brown, as well as officers attempted to provide Brown medical care after the shooting. Yeah, dude, let's provide him medical care after we just shot him in the fucking head. Yeah, dude, like, that's gonna work. I'm sorry, I seem like a fucking asshole reading this, but, like, it pisses me off, okay? It was my hope that it was my hope we will be able to see to release, it was my hope to release the video publicly so everyone can see for themselves what happened, the sheriff said. We respect our court's decision and took an oath to abide by North Carolina law, and we've done just that. The family attorney and viewing of the video comes after petitions of the sheriff's office and media coalition. Judge Jeff Foster issued a written order allowing Brown's family and one of their legal representatives to view the video, but they were not allowed to receive copies or make recordings. I wonder why. The judge filed his order to Thursday night, according to a copy posted by the county. The order says the video consists of almost 2 hours of footage. Brown posed no threat to officers, attorney said. Lynch, he said Brown was sitting in his vehicle when officers arrived and started yelling different things at Brown, like show your hands or get out. At all times, his hands were visible. You could see he was not a threat, Lynch said. It was so much yelling, we could barely understand what was happening. A shot was fired, Lynch said. Brown put his car in reverse several feet from where the officers were and were standing. At no point did we see any police officers behind his vehicle, Lynch said. At no point did we see Mr. Brown make any contact with law enforcement. District Attorney Andrew Womble, who is responsible for the district, and that includes the county, said officers fired when the car Brown was driving moved toward them, and the car made contact with the officers at least 2 times before the shots were fired. Yeah, I remember this. This motherfucker lied. He lied and said that they shot him because his car made contact with the officers, which is a fucking lie. Alright, again, police departments trying to clean up their mess and cover up a mess that they made. Lynn said he did see 2 officers firing their weapons at Brown's car. He found it difficult to count how many shots were fired. When they approached the vehicle, we counted approximately 6, if not more, bullet holes in the passenger side of the car. Lynn said windows were shattered. We were able to see 1 shot in front of the windshield and approximately 6 bullet holes in the back window shield. Also, I think I remember hearing this. Isn't it illegal? Isn't it against the law and it's illegal for officers to fire their weapons at a moving fucking vehicle? Okay, Lynch said at some point there was a fatal shooting, at which point Brown lost control of his vehicle and crashed into a tree in the street, across the street. Officers pulled Brown's body out of the car and laid him face first on the ground. No weapons were found inside. No weapons were found in Brown's vehicle after police searched it. So he was definitely not a fucking threat to you. It was absolutely unequivocally unjustified, Lynch said. Our legal team is more committed now to pursue justice because we saw today was unconstitutional and it was unjustifiable. Bro, it's like not even about justice. Like, of course it's about justice. Like, no shit, of course. But this is just the bare minimum of police officers taking accountability of killing an innocent civilian. Alright? Of killing somebody. Killing a human being. It is so hard. Bro, we have to have people literally fight legal battles in order for police officers in this country to take accountability for killing another human being. It's fucking insanity, dude. The judge orders the sheriff's office to blur the deputy's facial features. Wow, okay. To prevent identification pending the completion of any internal or criminal investigation into the actions of the deputies. Alright, whatever, dude. 2 members of the Brown's families and his family's attorney were initially shown the 20-second clip from the deputy's body camera on April 26, according to the Daniels. Another of the Brown's family attorneys, Chantel Cherry Lassiter, a 20-second clip showed an execution. The video I seen last week is pretty much the same as I seen today, just a few more details. One of the Brown's son, who was one of the 2 family members able to see the first video, said Tuesday, he wasn't in the wrong at all. What's in the dark will come to light. Brown's attorney asked for DA to rescue himself. Okay, in the dispatch audio from April 21st, when Brown was fatally shot, first responders can be heard saying a man had gun wounds to the back. A copy of Brown's death certificate said he died as a result of a gun wound to the head. Yeah, no shit, dude. I think if I get shot in the back of the fucking head, I think I'm gonna die too. According to the arrest warrant issued on April 20th and obtained by CNN on Thursday, Brown unlawfully, willfully, and feloniously did possess with the intention to sell and deliver a controlled substance, namely approx by 3 grams of cocaine. Okay, so that means that he deserves to die then? Yeah, dude, let's kill let's kill everyone who does drugs or who has drugs on their person. Let's just get a gun, put them on their fucking knees and shoot them in the back of the head. This is America, right? We're all about executions and we're all about killing people so fucking much. Why don't we just do that? Anyone who does drugs, weed, cocaine, whatever it is, let's just put you on your fucking knees in the middle of the street and shoot you in the back of the head. Let's do that. Let's do that. Right? We're almost there anyway. Alright. Kirby said after reviewing the 20-second clip that he saw his father driving away from the deputies, not toward them. Womble said April 28th that Andrew's car in the video was stationary when officers approached shouting commands. As officers attempted to open the door on the car, the vehicle backed up and made contact with the officer. Isn't it illegal if you're in a traffic stop? Isn't it illegal for the officer to forcefully open your door? That's illegal, right? I think that is. Okay, Womble said the car stopped before moving forward, and again made contact with the law enforcement. After the car moved forward, shots were heard. Womble said, okay, attorneys for the Browns family called for Womble to rescue himself. Case citing, well, denied conflicts between the prosecutor and the sheriff's office. There is no doubt all 7 officers involved, including the 3 shooters, have worked directly with you and your officer for years for prosecuting various cases, said the attorney wrote in the letter to Womble last week. The letter signed by the family attorney, Bakarari Sellers, asks that in the interest of the fairness, transparency, and pursuit of the ends of justice, Womble would remove the case to another jurisdiction and immediately rescue yourself. I mean, yeah, dude. Okay, you and your office not only work with the sheriff's Wooden and his deputies daily, your office physically resides in the sheriff's department. Okay, yeah. The conflict is well defined. Yeah, this creates biases. So obviously they shouldn't be working with them anyway on this case. All right. A case investigate. Look, dude. The police system it's so fucked up and it's so corrupt that we literally can't even trust we can't even, like, it's so fucking corrupt, and there's so much paranoia that we can't even trust that department and stuff to really even cover that case, because we know that there's going to be biases, and we know that they're going to be so dumb enough, and they're going to be so awful that they're just going to try to cover this up again. The state investigation into Brown's death remains ongoing. What do you mean the cause of death, dude? We all know how he fucking died. A spokesperson of the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation told CNN on Tuesday, the public information officer, blah, blah, said that due to many variables in the investigation, the agency was unable to provide a timeline of when it might conclude. Yeah, dude, again, I could already see it. This case is going to take a while. It's not going to be fast. I mean, the George Floyd trial wasn't fast either. It took its time. Honestly, you know what? It was kind of fast compared to other cases, but still. It still took months of waiting. Again, if more updates come up on Andrew Brown Jr., obviously, I'm gonna talk about it. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys, I got a text message. Okay. So yeah, if this comes back into my radar, obviously, for sure, I'm gonna talk about it. It's fucking awful, and I'm not gonna forget about it. So, but for now, we're gonna move on. This is the only update that I've gotten thus far. Again, if more details come out, I'm gonna talk about it. We're gonna move on though. We're gonna go back to this. On Monday, I talked about this I talked about this situation for a long time, and this is an update that I've gotten. All right, and we're gonna cover it again, because this is a huge issue that's happening. The Israeli and Palestinian conflict that's happening. At least 35 people killed in Gaza as Israel ramps up airstrikes in response to rocket attacks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen the videos online, like on Twitter and stuff. I'm obviously not going to show them because, that violates policy. But yeah, I'm not going to show it. It's fucking awful though. It's terrifying. Alright, tensions between Israelis and Palestinians have escalated further as Palestinian militants in Gaza fired hundreds of rockets into Israel, which responded with a ramped-up airstrike with the coastal enclave. Unrest spread into cities and towns beyond Jerusalem. As both sides traded airstrike on Tuesday evening, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin, I'm not reading that last name, addressed the nation, blah blah, saying we are in the midst of a significant operation. Israeli bombing ratings across Gaza have killed at least 35 people, including 12 children, according to the Palestinian health officials, who have also said 220 people have been injured. As of Tuesday's evening, the Israeli military said it had killed more than 15 militants. Wow. Good job. Very classy. Rockets were fired toward the Tel Aviv. Early hours of Wednesday morning, sirens could be heard warning of an implemented attack at around 3 a.m. local time. It was not immediately clear if there were any casualties. All right, these are the rockets. All right. In the town of Ashkelon, 2 people were killed by the rocket fire Tuesday, according to an Israeli military spokesman. A third person died in the town of Rishton, Lebanon, south of blah blah, Tuesday evening, according to the rocket attack. Israeli media reported citing Zaka emergency service. A CNN team heard at least 50 explosives in the coastal town near Gaza. A rocket fire was immediately reported in the city of Ashdod, and at least 17 Israeli citizens have been treated for injuries. All right, look, the Israeli military and the Israeli weaponry the weapons in the Israeli military is far more deadlier than the ones that Palestinians have. So again, Israelis have the upper hand here, and let's not forget, they straight up just killed 12 little kids and 35 people. Very nice. And yes, I know Palestinians killed people on their side too. I'm not gonna ignore that. I know that, dumbass. On Wednesday, Israeli declared state emergency in the center of the Lod and dispatched border police bulletins in the area of reinforcement. According to Governor Press Office, the mixed Jew-Arab city had been seen protests escalate into riots this week. A CNN team driving through the Lod early Wednesday saw roads strewn into rocks and burned out cars. Overnight, a rocket hit a house in the Hashmesh, just outside the city, killing a 52-year-old man and his daughter, both Israeli Arab citizens. The Israeli military said in a morning briefing Wednesday that the total of 5 Israeli citizens have now been killed since the start of the violent exchange of rocket fire and airstrikes between Gaza and Israel earlier this week. Yeah, 5 people have died, and on the Palestinian side, fucking, how much was it again? Fucking 35 people and 12 children died. And 220 people are fucking injured. Again, I know the media is trying to paint this as something else, and it's fucking gross. Israeli-Palestinian tensions. I don't care about that. A 13-story building collapsed. A 13-story tower in Gaza collapsed on Tuesday night after it was hit by an Israeli airstrike, drawing vows of retaliation from militants. Yeah, no shit, dude. If someone fucking bombed my house, I'm pretty sure I'd want to fight back too. The Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, said in a statement that the building contained officers used by Hamas across several floors, including intelligence officers in its military wing and a research and development unit working on rockets. The IDF said it provided advance warning to civilians in the building and provided sufficient time for them to evacuate the site. There are reports that one person on a nearby street was injured in the building's collapse. Separately, early hours of Wednesday, 2 separated buildings were hit. A 3rd-floor residential building and 3 people were killed. Gaza health officials said a 10-story building which suffered major damage and 2 fatalities. A larger building known as the Al-Jawahara building houses media network companies and other offices. Wow, thanks, man. Just killing innocent press people and journalists. Nice. Following the Israeli airstrike on the tower, a barrage of more than 200 rockets was fired from Gaza into Israel. Yep. Okay. Earlier, Hamas had warned the residential tower buildings in Gaza were targeted. They would not sit ideal and would respond with rocket fire. Okay, the military wing of Hamas said it responded with 210 rockets fired towards Beersheba and Tel Aviv. Okay, Palestinian Ministry Health Department spokesman in Gaza said Gaza residents are now in a state of panic due to the ongoing Israeli airstrikes. Okay, dude. So this is just one of the pictures of what's going on over there. The deliberate targeting of civilian houses and crowded residential neighborhoods puts more than half of the population of Gaza Strip, including men and women and children, in a state of panic. Okay. He said ongoing Israeli attacks have dangerously psychological repercussions due to the fighting and successive sounds of explosions, scenes, and destruction and victims. Yeah, if there was a war zone going down in my neighborhood, I'm pretty sure I'd be fucking traumatized too. Okay, said 43% of victims in Gaza are children and women. Gaza Interior Ministry spokesman Liad, I'm not reading that. Okay, also said in a statement released on Wednesday that dozens of Israelis attacks hit several areas in Gaza. Most airstrikes hit Gaza City and Khan Yunis in the southern portion of Gaza. No signs of de-escalation. Okay. In the past 2 days, Hamas and Israeli Gaza fired more than at least 500 rockets into Israel, forcing the closure of Israel's main international airport. Okay, yeah. The militants say to respond to the actions of Israeli police, who shot stun grenades inside of the mosque in Jerusalem, one of the city's holiest sites, on Monday morning. Yeah, I remember this. I covered this too. Hundreds of Palestinians went into hospitals for treatment after ensuing clashes with Israeli police and the most serious violence seen in the city in weeks. We have the right to respond to the Israelis' offensive and protect the interests of our people. And as long as the Israel argument continues to escalate, Hamas said in a statement, the Israeli military has conducted more than 150 strikes into Gaza as of Tuesday afternoon, according to the military spokesman, who said Israel had called up to 5,000 reserve troops to active duty to enhance operations in Gaza. Jesus, dude. Okay, a number of deaths were reported in the strikes, in northern Gaza. Among them were Amira Abdel Fattah, 57 years old, who was killed in her apartment along with her son, who had special needs. Ibrahim al-Masri, 11 years old, and his brother Marwan, 7 years old. Okay. The Palestinian health official said the Israeli army says it is investigating. A Palestinian man in Gaza told CNN over the phone that the sounds of Israeli strikes throughout Monday night, and as well as the sound of ongoing rocket fire, had been horrifying. The man, who declined to be named, described a mood of anger in Gaza over recent weeks in Jerusalem. It's the fact that Israelis targeted I'm not pronouncing that right, during Ramadan. So basically when Israelis attacked the mosque at Ramadan while people were praying, that has riled people up. Alright, so I'm gonna say it again if you don't remember what happened. Basically on Monday, Israelis attacked a mosque in Israel, which is again one of Israel's holiest sites for Palestinians and Muslims to go and pray. So a lot of Muslims and Palestinians were basically they were just inside of the mosque, like their church, and they were just praying. And it was during fucking Ramadan. And Ramadan is very important for practicing Muslims, where they do a fast, and it's a part of their religion. And at their most vulnerable time, when they're most vulnerable in praying and fasting and doing Ramadan, the Israelis attack them for just because they can. The man added that Israelis' attacks would only embolden support for Hamas, and the believed militants should continue firing rockets. Okay. Oh no, dude, fuck. Okay. Meanwhile, Arab citizens of Israel demonstrated Monday evening and Tuesday in the streets of several Israeli cities and villages, including Haif and Lod, in solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza and Jerusalem. In Lod, a 25-year-old Arab Israeli man was shot dead by a 34-year-old Jewish resident who said he was responding to stones being thrown at him. 2 people were arrested in connection with the incident. Yeah, dude, if someone throws rocks at me, I'ma just shoot them. Okay. Israeli police said around 150 violent protesters had been arrested in multiple lockdowns. Rioters attacked drivers, threw stones at passing cars, blocked roads, and ignited tree ties and cars, according to police. Yeah, why do you think they're fucking doing that? Why do you think they're doing this? They're not doing this just because it's fun. It's a thing to do. That's what people forget. People always see the violence happening and they're like, oh, they shouldn't do that. But remember, think why are they doing that? Because they're being mistreated. Motherfuckers were literally blown up while they were praying in a fucking mosque during Ramadan. Are you fucking serious? Of course they're gonna retaliate, and of course they're gonna be fucking angry and do shit and riot. No shit, dude. They're tired and they've been oppressed in that country for far too fucking long. International community calls for calm. The United States, fuck the United States in this situation. The United States isn't gonna do shit. The United States and United Union have called for de-escalation of violence, while several other countries in the Middle East, including Turkey, condemned the Israeli police response to tensions in Jerusalem. Look, the United States is like that kid. The United States is like that girl who sees two guys fighting, and she's like, come on guys, stop fighting. Don't fight. And then they continue fighting. That's what the United States is doing. Alright? The U.S. is going to continue to fund Israelis and to fund the Israeli military, which in the end, the Israeli military uses that funding and money to abuse Palestinian citizens, which isn't surprising. And the United States government doesn't give a fuck, nor does our military care. They love it, dude. One of the main sources of growing unrest in recent days has been a possible eviction of several Palestinian families from their homes in the Jerusalem neighborhood and Sheikh Jarrah. Yeah, I covered this already. I already showed videos and stuff of motherfuckers literally rolling up to people's houses and being like, this is my house now. It's free real estate. Get out. It's my house. Israeli police have clashed with Palestinians in the neighborhood as well as other locations for several weeks now. And this shit, by the way, this shit's been going on for fucking years, alright? With Palestinians accusing Jewish nationalists of provocation and police and heavy-handed tactics. Nearly 1,000 Palestinians were injured in the East Jerusalem and over 200 in the West Bank between May 7th and May 10th, according to the United Nations and Palestinians Red Crescent. On Tuesday, the UN human rights experts expressed grave concerns about Israelis' aggressive response to protests in East Jerusalem. Yeah, no shit, dude. It for sure violates human rights. I think everyone can see that from a fucking mile away. And called on Israel and occupying power to immediately lift its threat and evict hundreds of Palestinian households from their legally protected homes. Reestablishing calm in Jerusalem is important, but creating conditions for justice and equality in the city are even more important, the experts say in a statement. The UN also denounced Israeli attacks in Gaza as well as Palestinian rockets selling. The U.S. President Joe Biden has received a briefing from this national security advisor on the ongoing violence between Israelis and Palestinians. The White House press secretary Jen Psaki said Tuesday Biden had directed his team to engage intensively with the Israeli and Palestinian leaders. She said his team is communicating a clear and consistent message in support to de-escalate, and that this our primary focus, the president's support for Israeli security, for its legitimate right to defend itself and its people from I'm done, bro. I'm fucking done. I am done. Okay, dude. What the fuck did I say? She condemned Hamas rockets attacked in Jerusalem, but added, we stand against extremism and that inflicted violence from both communities. Look, what the fuck did I tell you? They aren't gonna do shit. And you already know they're on the side of fucking Israelis. We condemn violence. We don't support the violence from both sides. Yeah, okay, dude. U.S. officials have spoken candidly with Israeli officials about the eviction of Palestinians in East Jerusalem. Saying they work together, shared interest in reducing violence. We believe Palestinians and Israelis deserve equal measures of freedom, security, dignity, and prosperity. Yeah, dude, just playing the card of on both sides dancing around this situation. What the fuck did I say? Again, I highly doubt the United States is gonna fucking do anything to help. Okay, dude, I'm done with this. I'm sorry. This was your update. We're gonna move on to COVID. Okay. So I saw this happening, you know, when we cover COVID, we gotta cover the good and the bad, and unfortunately, this is one of the bad. This is posted yesterday. Fourth wave of COVID-19 hospitalizations hits Washington state. Get your vaccine. As the coronavirus outbreak concedes in many parts of the U.S., the Pacific Northwest has emerged as an outlier, grouped by the state by the late spring surge, and has filled hospitals and metro areas around Seattle and Portland. In recent weeks, the governors of both states had hit brakes on reopening plans in hopes of countering the rapid spread of the more contagious B.1.17 variant of the coronavirus first identified in the UK. Bro, the UK always has to start some shit. Thanks a lot. I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm just kidding. In Washington state, new hospitals admissions for COVID-19 have been higher during this current surge than any other time, except for this past winter. We have seen a clear fourth wave of hospitalization, said Dr. Michael Anderson, medical chief officer of Virginia Manson Fresenius Health, whatever, which had brought hospitals throughout Washington state. The first rise of the curve for admission had been scary, and that has been taken off so quickly. Very, very busy hospitals. Restrictions remain. Similar to the national trends, the patients being hospitalized in Washington are now overwhelmingly young and middle-aged adults. So all you young, middle-aged motherfuckers who last time during when COVID was getting better, they were like, I don't care because I'm not going to be affected by it because I'm young and I'm healthy. Well, guess what, bitch? You guys are the ones in hospitals now. How you like them fucking apples, dumbass? Not older Americans who are mostly vaccinated at this point. See, that's what you get. That's what you get. You know what? I feel bad. Maybe some of these people got COVID and it was out of their control. But for the motherfuckers that were like, I'm not going to take the vaccine because I'm healthy and I'm good and I could fight it off. Well, guess what, bitch? You're getting in fucking hospitals too. It's your turn now. It's your turn. Go get your fucking vaccine and stop acting like a baby. It's keeping our system very, very busy, said Michael Mint. Is that how you pronounce your name, my guy? Infectious disease epidemiologist who leads the COVID-19 response in multi-care, a hospital system based in Tacoma, Wash. The average age of COVID-19 patients at a multi-care has fallen out about a decade, which has been the latest surge, more manageable because younger patients tend to have shorter hospital stays than elderly people do, he says. Washington Governor Jay Inslee, I had never heard of this man, has enacted a statewide pause on looming any pandemic restrictions and put in place more stringent rules on several regions last month, including the state's second most populous county in the state of Seattle. Fuck, dude, I ran out of coffee. God damn it. Okay. We will be dealing with a very severe wave that could possibly worsen than a third wave if not for this background of vaccination. Dr. Joshua Scrifset, I'm not pronouncing that name, an infectious disease expert in the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. There are several likely explanations for why Oregon and Washington are being hit with the late spring surge. How quickly the B.1.17 strain took off, cooler weather still keeping people indoors, and the region's relative success at fending off the virus earlier in the pandemic, which now leaves the population more vulnerable, at least until more people are fully vaccinated. It's notable that states have been going through lower degrees of infections and have fourth waves of having pre-existing immunity based off infection has helped certain states with this fourth wave. Okay, Washington health officials say the early signs of the new cases have peaked, but the outlook remains uncertain, especially given the unknowns about which variants. But not just like the B.1.17 may be spreading undetected. We may be blah 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 blah. Okay, what what way we're going to be blind, and we're going to go for the fourth wave, really, vaccines. Vaccine demand slow. We need to push toward rule and wash. Okay, Washington is firmly in the top of half states of how many people are fully vaccinated. It is, and for this rate of new vaccinations, more than half of the adults in the state have already have at least one dose. In the Seattle metro area, that number rises to about 70%. But as with much of the country, the pace of vaccination appears to be slowing down. Now we have new appointments. They're still available and blah blah. We're not filling them. We're not able to deliver the vaccine that we have. Dr. Anderson of Virginia, Manson, blah blah. Okay. Health official leaders are trying to be creative with how they get shots into arms, and enlisting companies such as Uber and Lyft to provide free and discounted rides to vaccine clinics. Nice. That's good. I fully support this. I covered this last time too. I think last time I said how, like, I don't know, fucking companies were like paying people or giving them like Super Bowl tickets to go get the vaccine. And I'm like, seems like a pretty good exchange to me. I get a microchip in my arm and you give me tickets to the Super Bowl. Nice. The challenge of bringing vaccines to people and convincing them to get it are only amplified in rural parts of the state. In White Solomon watched the vaccine tent outside North Shore Medical Group Hospital is not attracting crowds of people, even though data show the majority of the adult population in the region have not received at least one shot. I wonder why they're like that. Okay, who received a second dose shot there? She says he personally knows of 2 people in the state who have died during the latest surge of COVID-19, including one who was a distant relative. She chose to not get the vaccine, he says. So now it has actually touched the family, and that was my first experience of that. Yeah, dude, get your fucking vaccine, or else you'll probably die. Okay, I'm not trying to scare people, alright? But get your fucking vaccine, dumbass. North Shore has its 2 clinics, blah blah. Okay, blah blah blah. We've got from the arms looking at vaccines, at the vaccines looking for arms phase. Okay, yeah. We're all realizing this is going to be a less mass vaccination, super efficient process, and that there's going to come down to one more conversations, actually approaching patients out in the community. This is an apprehensive proposal for rural primary care practice in that the Biden administration hopes to encourage through a nearly $1 billion investment in rural America's COVID-19 response. Yeah, I covered this last week. I mean, on Monday I covered it, so if you want to look at that, go ahead. Without extra funding, many rural practices would have to scale down their vaccination efforts because the time and manpower to do a vaccine campaign isn't fully feasible. Phasia sites a recent vaccine clinic. North Shore is held at a nearby Catholic church, which serves the Hispanic community. It's an example of how providers should be reaching out to people they may not have access or information about the vaccine, he says, but ultimately only a handful of people ended up getting shots over the course of several hours. It's worth paying for, he says, and it helps people that don't get their shot because they see and hear that part of the community. You're there, you care. That you're there and you care. All right, so that's the news on COVID. I might talk about COVID later if there's more news stories about it and all that stuff. We're gonna move on to California. I'm gonna talk about this right now, but I need to fucking go to the restroom, so I'll be right back. And we'll talk about this. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, kids. I'm back. No need to cry. Alright, we're gonna talk about California, my lovely state. California Governor Gavin Newsom proposes $12 billion to house stay homeless. As governor, I really want to get something done. I want to talk about the first decade. I already saw people complaining about this. They were saying, he's only doing this because he's up for a recall election. Yeah, dude, no shit. What the fuck do you think he's doing it for? What the fuck do you think he's doing it for? Out of the kindness of his heart? But you know what? I don't care. I don't give a fuck if he's just doing this because he's going up for a recall election, which I'm pretty sure he's gonna win anyway, knock on wood. But, yeah, no shit, dude, you're right. All those conservatives and Republicans out there thinking they're owning the libs by saying he's just doing this because he's up for recall election. That's the only why. I'm yeah, dude, I don't care though, because at least he's doing it. I don't give a shit what the fuck his intentions are. I don't care. Get shit done. I don't care. Get it done. That's what fucking matters. I don't care what his intentions are. I know that most politicians don't do shit out of the goodness of their fucking heart, and you have to accept that. Even Democrats. But we're gonna read this though, because, obviously homelessness in California is a huge problem. San Francisco. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Tuesday proposed a $12 billion in new funding to get more people experiencing homelessness in the state into housing, and to functionally end family homelessness within 5 years. See, look, they say within 5 years, so you better re-elect me, bitch. As governor, I really want to get something done. I don't want to talk about this for a decade, he said at a former San Diego hotel that's been converted into housing for homeless. Good. I remember I heard about this a while back. Okay, Newsom proposed includes $8.75 billion to expand a California program created during the pandemic that converts hotels and motel rooms into housings for people in need. Roughly half of that money goes towards creating the housing where mental health and other behavioral services are provided on site to people living there. The nation's populous state has estimated 161,000 people experiencing homelessness, which is more than any other state. Yeah, dude, it's bad. It's really bad. And then again, there's a fuck ton of people living in California. Millions of people living here. Beyond the money for converting hotels, Newsom proposed spending $3.5 billion on new housing and rental support payments for families. If Newsom plans win support for the state legislature, its implementation would depend heavily on the willingness of local governments to go along. Local leaders showed support for the plan during the pandemic by converting 94 hotels, motels, and other properties across the state, housing for people experiencing homelessness, said Jason Elliott, a Newsom advisor who works on housing and homelessness. Still, in San Diego County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher, a fellow Democrat, acknowledged that tackling the issue is challenging and urged Californians to step up in an effort to solve the difficult problem. Every community group that you go to demands that you solve the problem with homelessness, and then in the exact same meeting they'll demand you to don't solve it anywhere near them. Okay, he said the new pending proposal came as part of the $100 billion pandemic recovery plan Newsom is rolling out this week. Yes, I covered this already. I covered his $100 billion pandemic plan. If you want to go look at that, go ahead. The massive amount comes from an astounding $76 billion estimated state budget surplus and $27 billion in new funding from the federal government's latest coronavirus spending bill. Yeah, and the only reason why we have this surplus and shit is because we tax the rich. Tax the fucking rich, dude. If you're rich in California, you're getting taxed. Get taxed. Focusing on homelessness, a vexing issue for the state, could prove politically helpful for Newsom as he faces expected recall election later this year. Yep, there's the kicker. There it is. This is what everyone's fucking complaining about. A new state's database shows nearly 250,000 people sought housing services from the local housing department housing officials in 2020. Of that number, 117,000 people have been waiting for help, while nearly 92,000 people found housing. Newsom, former mayor of San Francisco, where the homelessness is very visible, sees the twin crisis of homelessness and affordable housing even before the pandemic started last year. He launched Project Roomski and HomeKey, using federal funding to house homeless residences in hotels and motels during the pandemic and helped cities. I remember when he was doing this. Counties and other local entries buy and convert motels and other buildings into housing. Newsom officials said $800 million spent in the program last year created 6,000 more housing units for motels, houses, dorms, and other supposed buildings, providing shelter for 8,200 people. Yeah, dude, and this was only $800 million. And yes, I say only $800 million because there are billions of dollars on the line now. So hence why I only say million. Because million is not a lot compared to billion. Which is good that they wanted to spend billions now. That's incredible. The average cost to convert a unit for housing for people experiencing homelessness was nearly $150,000. Newsom administration said in a recent briefing that said it is much cheaper than building houses from scratch. Local leaders have welcomed Newsom's focus on the problem. Big city California mayors are seeking 200. Bro, I cannot fucking read. 20 billion from the state over 5 years to address housing and homelessness. Advocates for homelessness say there's simply not enough affordable housing to help people who slip into homelessness. I mean, that's very true. They're not wrong. Which is why tent camps and sleeping bags still clutter highway ramps, and city sidewalks. Yeah, dude. Yeah, especially during COVID. A February audit criticized the states for its fragmented approach to addressing homelessness and urged the state to track spending and set statewide policy. It identified at least 9 state agencies that spent $13 billion and 41 programs to address homelessness without evidence to show what was effective. Alright. Anyways. This is good. Hold on. I want to hear this man talk. Alright. Okay, we're gonna hear what he has to say. Okay.
We're announcing today that what we've done in the past, as significant as it's been, and I want to thank your mayor for being there front and center when we secured over $1 billion in our housing budget last year. At the time, that was announced as historic investment in the issue of housing and homelessness. This year, we are proposing to multiply that by 10. What we're proposing here today is a $12 billion 2-year housing proposal. Unprecedented, again, in American history, not just California history. This is not just doubling down on strategies that we know
Bro, work. Look at his fucking... Okay, never mind. I'm not going to say anything. It's fucked up. But no, it's not fucked up, actually. Do you see how white this man's teeth are? How the fuck did he do that? You know what? It must be nice to be rich.
This is an order
must be nice
investment into transforming the homeless crisis in the state of California to one of America's most enlivening stories, with the support and examples of people who are demonstrable proof that homelessness can end in our society, that we're not doomed to manage more efficiently into the future, that we can solve homelessness once and for all. Lindsay's an example of that. Nia Grace is an example of that. They're proof of what we're capable of doing, but we recognize we have to do so much more. $8.75 billion, close to $9 billion in new specific housing supports along the lines of this project right here. Hotel, motel conversions, tiny home conversions, modular unit investment, new construction, rehab, investments at a scale the likes of which we've never seen. HomeKey, instead of providing that $840+ million that we provided or supported in terms of budget last year. We're looking to do $3.5 billion for home key alone, $2.5 billion for board and care, residential treatment, mental health supports, housing in that space, conservatorship housing, opportunity for intensive services, another $1 billion. This is the most significant expansion of mental health housing, board and care housing in modern California history as well. Some $9 billion, $8.75 billion just in that space. As it was noted a moment ago by Chair Fletcher, we are committed to ending family homelessness.
All right, good shit, good shit, good shit, good shit, good shit. All right, you already heard him. All right, I just wanted to hear what he had to say from his own mouth. I have no criticisms of this. I know people are criticizing it because people question Newsom's intentions. Obviously, I get that. I understand it. You know, they're saying, well, he's just doing it because of blah, blah, blah. And there's other people on the other side who don't want to spend this money on homelessness in the first place. Which to them, I say, go fuck yourself. You fucking swine. Fuck off. Right? Who the fuck doesn't want to end homelessness? Are you a fucking psychopath? Whatever. I have no criticisms of this. Obviously, this is fucking great. And the fact that the price range is in the billions is incredible to me. Look, I don't care. I do not care if he's doing this because he's up for recall. I don't care. The fact that he's talking about it, the fact that we're talking about it in the first place is crazy to me. The fact that he even has a plan and that he wants to pursue it is crazy to me. So I don't really give a shit if he has good intentions or not. I don't care. The fact that they want it, that they're doing it and they're getting shit done and they're proposing it in the first place is progress. It's progress. And we have to take that shit. When progress like this is even proposed, we have to grab that shit and hold on to it and don't let it go. Because again, remember, you could always do more. You could always do more. You could always ask for more. You could always advocate for more. And this is one of those moments. But we're going to move on away from this. I just saw it and I didn't really know much about it. And I thought it was interesting. Because, you know, I live in California. And if you live in California, then you should be interested in this too. But that's all I have to say on it. Okay, I already covered this. Okay, we're going to move on. Now's the part of the stream where we do... Oh, shit, why is my shit fucked up? Okay, now's the part of the stream where... what's, like, trending